Kia ora. Hello everyone, my name is Rachel Pasqualin and it's a pleasure to present the paper entitled Urban Resilience, Potential for Rainwater Harvesting in a Heritage Building. This paper is a result from a collaboration study between Ronnie Pace from Heritage New Zealand Central Office and Dr. Nigel Isaacs and I from Victoria University of Wellington. This paper presents a rainwater harvesting preliminary study on the Heritage New Zealand Poheri Taonga Category 1 Old Government Building. It aims to examine the environmental, economic, and social benefits and the feasibility of implementing a rainwater harvest system in contrast with the challenges due to heritage constraints. Population growth and changes in weather patterns due to climate change are imposing challenging times on the built environment and urban communities, including growing water demand. Urban population is slightly increasing, however, many water catchments are already close to full allocation. Therefore, future scenarios predict water scarcity. In order to create resilient and sustainable cities, the built environment needs to adapt and reduce its demand on water supplies. If used wisely, buildings can provide an additional source of water, helping to reduce the city water demand and wastewater treatment in dense built-up areas. A good heritage asset management can contribute to reduce its water demand while maintaining its community significance. For this reason, this study is exploring how to implement a rainwater harvest system into a listed building. Consider New Zealand's largest wooden building that once housed the entire administration for New Zealand government. Since 1996, the building has been leased to the Victoria University of Wellington and it's used for the Faculty of Law. With an increasing water demand, the rain harvesting offers resilience to disruptions from natural hazards and could significantly lower mains water use, especially on centralized systems like in Wellington. Climate reports show an increasing risk of drought and a likely increase in local floodings due to extreme rainfalls. The building is already located in a flood zone that could compromise both the building conservation and site protection. Rainwater harvesting can potentially decrease stormwater runoff, thereby helping to reduce local flooding and creating more resilient urban areas. Wellington's water supply network is also vulnerable in the case of strong earthquakes, when the CBD could be without water for more than 100 days, and the area could also struggle for enough water to fight fires on post-quakes. Thus, rainwater reuse in a heritage building could create a conscious attitude towards resilience, protecting and enlarging the life of not only the building itself, but also the urban historic area. This preliminary study comprises two main steps. The first step is to verify if the roof has enough capacity for collecting rainfall to meet the building's needs, and secondly, is essential to understand the water use in order to identify potential savings. The harvesting capacity calculation considers the roof area of approximately 2,500 square meters in the horizontal plane, the Wellington's average monthly and annual rainfall levels that were taken from available NIWA reports, and a generic 0.8 runoff coefficient due to the imperviousness from the roof material. There is a potential of almost 2.5 million liters per year of harvesting capacity, and figure 3 shows the monthly rainwater harvesting potential, and it's noticeable that the highest potential is during winter months. To estimate the water consumption, two methods were used. Firstly, overall water records from the university. Secondly, regular readings of the building's water meter during 2 months of 2020. These readings enable the understanding of end uses and potential savings, including the minimum building daily water use. The university records from the past 2 years showed an average water use of about 8,000 liters per day, and an increased consumption from 2.6 to 3 million liters from 2018 to 2019, close to the estimated roof potential of 2.5 million liters per year. During February, before the first trimester resumed, and March, during the first trimester, the meter was read twice a day to record the day and night measurements, also to understand the week and weekend differences seen on Figure 4. The meter readings compared with the longer-term records help understanding the overall usage. An important figure from the graph is the weekend night use when the building was expected to be largely unoccupied. However, there is still an average of 90 liters per hour consumption, likely representing the building minimum water use. This result is based on a preliminary assessment and suggests longer term monitoring should be carried out in order to refine results in a future stage. But it still shows that there is a potential to reduce the minimum water consumption. The meter readings also confirms that daily average matches with the university record of 8,000 liters per day. Ultimately, readings were also made during 1 week when the building was being washed, finding that washing the building once a year uses approximately 40,000 liters. The toilet flush systems represent an opportunity for improvements as they can be responsible for leakage faults. A comparison method was used to estimate the amount of water used by each flush system in the building. Firstly, the different flush systems were identified: 11 cyclically flush wall pod urinals and 58 single flush cistern or inline toilets. Then the recorded consumption found in the literature was used to calculate the overall yearly use. For example, the single flush toilets over a 52-week occupation period may use approximately 1 million liters per year. This preliminary study identified potential water savings given the significant minimum use figure from weekend nights, as well as potential for the use of rainwater for washing the building, watering the gardens, toilet flushing, and for emergency non-potable water supply. The analysis shows toilet flushing and building washing use a total of 1.8 million liters per year, which is less than the harvest capacity of 2.5 million liters per year, suggesting there is still a great potential for emergency water supply and garden irrigation. There is also a water use reduction potential by upgrading old and inefficient appliances, which should be the first action to reduce the water use before implementing any rainwater system. Findings also show yearly cost savings of 4,300 New Zealand dollars. The savings are not great due to the current low rates of water in Wellington. However, beyond the low economic savings that might increase in the future, there are other relevant social costs to consider, such as reducing local flooding risks. The research findings confirm that there is a potential for a long-term water and cost savings in a future scenario of water scarcity and increase in water prices. Also, it improves resilience for the building and area in case of earthquakes or flooding. Moreover, having a rainwater reuse system and upgrading water appliances promotes the historic buildings as responsible consumption benchmarks, contributing to create thriving and resilient communities. However, implementing rainwater use systems in heritage buildings can be challenging. The proper and critically designed intervention must not interfere with the authenticity and integrity of the heritage asset. Interventions need to be approved by correspondent protection agencies that will look to ensure if the solutions have a minimum interference in the building fabric. Upgrades in plumbing systems will require at times major interventions. Therefore, the solution needs to be carefully designed and planned by a multidisciplinary team in order to be heritage and cost effective. It is also important to consider the life cycle cost analysis. This paper highlighted the numerous social, economic, and environmental advantages of including a rainwater system in a heritage building in a historic area. It also discussed the heritage buildings at some degree can contribute to thriving and resilient communities, and despite possible cost and heritage constraints, it does not set aside the feasibility of implementing a rainwater system. The findings confirm a potential reduction from water mains and recommends further monitoring, research on the heritage impact of different system options, and the life cycle assessment following this first preliminary study. Thank you all for your attention.